The day had started quietly, almost too quietly. I had woken up with that small hope we all carry on our birthdays, that maybe, just maybe, someone would remember and make it special. But as the hours passed, the house remained still. The dining table was bare, no bright balloons swaying in the air, no sweet scent of cake waiting to be cut. I sat there, tracing the rim of my empty teacup, telling myself it didn't matter, that I was too old for celebrations anyway. Then I heard footsteps. My mom appeared in the doorway, her arms folded tightly across her chest, her expression sharp and unyielding. She didn't greet me, didn't wish me a happy birthday. Instead, her words landed like stones, "You've turned out to be such a failure." For a moment, I couldn't breathe. I tried to smile, to pretend her words didn't pierce me, but inside, I felt something crumble. The room seemed colder, the silence heavier. I wanted to defend myself, to remind her of all the struggles I'd overcome, but my throat tightened and nothing came out. In that instant, I felt small, smaller than I had in years. It wasn't just about the birthday or the missing cake. It was the crushing weight of feeling unseen, unappreciated, unloved. I lowered my gaze to hide the moisture gathering in my eyes, but the ache in my chest told me this was a birthday I would never forget. Not because of joy, but because of the wound it left behind. That night, the house was wrapped in silence, the kind that presses against your ears until every little sound feels magnified. I sat by the window, knees pulled to my chest, watching the dim streetlights flicker against the wet pavement. The words my mom had said earlier kept replaying in my mind, looping over and over like a cruel record I couldn't switch off. "You've turned out to be such a failure." Each time, it felt like another crack formed inside me. I told myself to let it go, that I was stronger than this, but the truth was, it hurt. More than I wanted to admit. The kind of hurt that sits heavy in your chest and makes even breathing feel like work. My phone lay silent beside me. No messages. No missed calls. Not even from my husband, who was still away for work. I wanted him to call, to tell me I mattered, but the hours slipped by and the only sound was the occasional hum of a car in the distance. Somewhere deep in the night, I caught the faintest echo of an engine approaching. My heart skipped, wondering if it could be him, but it passed by without stopping. I leaned my forehead against the glass, the coolness calming my burning eyes. Sleep didn't come easily, my mind kept drifting between painful memories and the quiet longing for someone, anyone, to make me feel like I wasn't as worthless as her words had made me believe. That night felt endless. Morning light spilled softly into the room, brushing away the shadows that had kept me company all night. My eyes felt heavy, swollen from crying, but the world outside was already moving on. I dragged myself out of bed, half expecting the day to be as hollow as the one before. The kettle whistled in the kitchen, filling the quiet with its sharp, familiar sound, and I poured myself a cup of tea, hoping it would warm the chill I still carried inside. Then it happened, a short, sharp honk outside. I froze, the cup trembling slightly in my hand. Curiosity pushed me to the window, and there it was, a sleek black car slowing to a stop in front of our house. My heart thudded against my ribs as the driver's door opened. It was him. My husband. Standing there with that familiar grin that always made my chest feel lighter. He looked different this time, like a man carrying a secret he couldn't wait to share. In one hand, he held a bouquet of fresh flowers, their colors vivid against the gray of the morning. In the other, a small, neatly wrapped box that seemed almost to glow in the sunlight. For a moment, I couldn't move. The contrast between last night's loneliness and this unexpected sight was almost too much to process. My breath caught in my throat as I stepped toward the door, unsure if I was dreaming or if life had just decided to surprise me in the most beautiful way. The moment I opened the door, he closed the distance between us in just a few steps. Before I could say a word, his arms wrapped around me, pulling me into a hug so warm and familiar that all the heaviness from the night before began to melt away. I could feel his heartbeat against my cheek, steady and reassuring. "Happy birthday, my love," he whispered, his voice carrying both apology and affection. "I'm sorry I couldn't be here last night." His words were soft, but they reached the deepest part of me. The part that had felt invisible just hours ago. Then he leaned back, a mischievous glint in his eyes, and handed me the small wrapped box. "But, that's not all." He gestured toward the car parked at the curb. "This is for you." I blinked at him, my mouth opening but no words forming. The car was beautiful, sleek, shining, and unmistakably the one I had admired for years. My hands flew to my mouth, tears rushing to my eyes, but this time they weren't born of pain. "It's not just about the car," he said softly, almost reading my thoughts. "It's about reminding you that you are worth everything, and more." At that moment, I realized it wasn't the gift itself that left me breathless, it was the love behind it, the thought, the belief in me when I had almost stopped believing in myself. The world felt lighter, brighter, and full of possibility again. Later that afternoon, we were on the road, the hum of the engine blending with the rush of wind through the open window. My hair danced wildly in the breeze, and I couldn't help but smile, a real smile, the kind I hadn't felt in a long time. My husband's hand rested gently over mine on the gear shift, a silent reminder that I wasn't alone in this world. The city rolled past us, people walking their dogs, children chasing after ice cream trucks, strangers laughing together on street corners. For the first time in days, I noticed the little beauties in life again. The sting of my mother's words was still there, but it no longer defined me. Instead, they had been replaced by something stronger, the reminder that my worth didn't come from her approval, or anyone else's. It came from the love I gave, the kindness I carried, and the people who chose to stand by me. I glanced at my husband, his eyes focused on the road but his smile still present, and I felt my heart swell with gratitude. Life wasn't perfect, it never would be, but in that moment, it was enough. More than enough. I realized sometimes the most beautiful gifts arrive just after our darkest nights, like sunlight breaking through after a storm. And as we drove into the horizon, I knew this birthday wouldn't be remembered for the hurt, but for the hope that followed.